The waiting is over and the crosstown showdown is here between unbeaten Lakeland and defending state champion Yorktown. Hello everyone, I'm J.R. Well, and I'm joined today by sports editor of the Patent Trader, Joe Lombardi. And Joe, we have on our hands today one of the premier lacrosse matchups in all of New York State.
We really do, J.R. Lakeland is unbeaten. They're 15-0. They've won 34 out of their last 35 games. They're the defending Section 1 Class A champions. Then you've got Yorktown, the defending state champions. They have won 10 straight Section 1 titles, and year in and year out, they play a schedule as tough as any team in the nation, but none of those games any tougher than the one today against their crosstown rival, the Lakeland Hornets.
So you can imagine the talent out here today, and two of the players on the team will be taking their play on the road to a world-renowned lacrosse site after graduation.
That's right. Dom Finn of Yorktown and Jeff Schuessler of Lakeland will both be attending two-time defending NCAA Division I champion Syracuse, and that's the equivalent of playing basketball at North Carolina or playing football at Notre Dame. A few years ago, Johns Hopkins was the power, and now that team is Syracuse, and we have two players in this game today who will be playing there, and we'll certainly keep an eye on them. They're going to be two of the key people to watch in today's game.
Joe, give me an idea of the kind of matchups we'll be seeing out here today, and what's the most important matchup?
Well, I think the key thing for Yorktown is going to be the face-offs. Schuessler is as good a face-off guy as anyone in Section 1. He wins about 80 to 90% of his face-offs. And Jim Turnbull, the Yorktown coach, told me this week that, quite frankly, face-offs have been a problem for them this year. They're going to try three people there: Roy Colsey, Brian Duperzel, and Matt Horowitz. And we'll see if anyone can be successful, but Lakeland's going to want a run-and-gun game. They're going to want to really get that tempo up there, and if they start winning face-offs, remember, this is one sport where you can get the ball right back after scoring, and if they start scoring some quick goals, it could be a long afternoon for Yorktown.
All right, so the waiting is over and the talk is over. It's time now for the first face-off, Lakeland and Yorktown, here on VIP Cable Channel 12. Lakeland comes into today's game undefeated, and Yorktown has kind of stumbled a bit in the past couple of games, but Joe Lombardi, they certainly do have the talent to take their play well into the playoffs.
Well, don't forget, too, we were talking about the strength of the Yorktown schedule. You know, they go throughout not just the state of New York, but the entire Northeast, and play the premier competition around. In fact, Coach Jim Turnbull of Yorktown told me before the season that he thought this was the toughest schedule he's ever made out at Yorktown. And that they do have 4 losses, yes, and they've had a rematch of against Corning East at the last year's state final. They played Ward Melville. You're not going to win all those games, but you're going to play them, and you're going to be a better team because of it. And I think Yorktown right now has to be happy that they have had that level of competition, because this is as tough a team as they'll face all year, and I think they're ready for it.
And Coach Turnbull certainly made it a point that face-offs are a weakness of his team. And here we go for the first face-off here of the game.
Right now it's Roy Colsey out there for Yorktown going against Schuessler, who we talked about earlier.
Schuessler in green, Lakeland in green. Here's the face-off. A struggle picked up by Schuessler.
And you see how quickly Lakeland sets up for an attack. They're going to get a quick shot off. I believe their game plan is going to be just to get as many shots on goal as they can against Rocco DeAndrea of Yorktown, number 7, the goalie.
Christian Johns now looking for a pass. Gets it off to Geary. Looking for room for a possible shot. Looking for a shot.
Nice save there by Rocco DeAndrea on a hop. Came up with it.
Clears it out well to Jason Foley.
And I think Yorktown is going to want to settle things a little bit. They don't want as fast a pace as Lakeland. Frank Vitolo, the Lakeland coach, said this week he wants a run-and-gun game. And you see a lot of contact. It's going to be a physical game. Lakeland is a hard-hitting team, but they can't take any bad penalties against Yorktown because they're going to pay for them if they do.
Ball up for grabs right now. And comes away with it, Jim Costello.
There's Carcaterra. He's the feeder for Yorktown. He's the man that really runs their offense and gets things going.
Colsley couldn't pick it up.
Just missed a pass there, did Roy. You don't see that very often with Yorktown, but Colsley quickly comes away with it again.
Here's Colsley being hounded by Reeves. Looking for a shot, Colsley.
Went to the side of the net. Dom Finn let one fly, and that went wide too, but Carcaterra now comes away with it.
And picked up.
Usman Green.
Usman Green back out to Carcaterra.
You see Carcaterra operate a lot behind that net.
Up to Joe Cahill. And back out to Finn. Looking for a shot.
Dom Finn said he thought they would be locking on to him throughout the game. Talked with him on Thursday, and they are indeed, but he does get a nice shot away there.
He was right. Now back out to Carcaterra, Cahill.
Yorktown getting some shots, just not winding up on goal. Looks like Colsey now almost came away with it. Seeing a lot of hard hitting by Lakeland.
Nice pickup by Hickey. Out to Beardsley at midfield.
Last year, Lakeland won this game 6-4. Yorktown leads the series 8-2. Lakeland getting their first ever win against Yorktown in 1987. Memorable game, JR. That broke Yorktown's 126-game winning streak against Section 1 competition.
This is Jim Costello.
Costello, a great long stick for Yorktown out of the Bill Dwan tradition. Of course, Billy Dwan down at Johns Hopkins doing very well down there, and Jim Costello only a sophomore for Yorktown. We're going to be hearing that name for the next few years.
Yorktown looking for another shot. So far we've seen superb defense. The shot long, out of bounds.
We really have, and of course when you talk about the Lakeland defense, the name that comes to mind is Rick Beardsley, number 43 out there, or rather 47 out there. He is only a junior. Number 43 for Lakeland is another defenseman, Mark Reeves, but Beardsley is known as one of the hardest hitting defensemen around and one of the best, I'd say, along with Anthony Newman of John Jay.
Cahill with the ball for Yorktown in white.
Looks like Lakeland now going with a zone defense, which is surprising. I thought they'd pretty much stick to a man.
And the pickup by Carcaterra. Being hounded by Eamon Dermody. And
Hickey came out nicely to meet that shot.
Beardsley,
Nice save there by Hickey. Off a quick shot, looked like Cahill got that one loose.
And Vinny Lima off to Mark Reeves.
You know, the thing
to Hickey.
When you talk about Lakeland and Yorktown, the amazing thing is their stick skills. They both have great feeder programs, youth feeder programs, and by the time those kids are in the 9th and 10th grade, their stick skills are superior to most players at any other varsity team in Section 1, and we're seeing that right now. Very crisp passing, and really...
and they're so well coached also.
Both teams are very well coached.
Both these teams very, very efficient. Not a lot of stupid penalties, which you may find with other teams.
Frank Vitolo last year, the Section 1 Coach of the Year. He's in his 8th year at Lakeland. Jim Turnbull has been coaching the Yorktown Cornhuskers for 18 years. He founded the program, left, turned things over to Jerry Walsh for a while, then returned. And this is the 25th season of Yorktown Lacrosse.
Nacido off to Christian Johns.
John's only a junior for Lakeland. He's a legitimate major Division I prospect.
And looks to get it out to Cegilski. May have a shot. A one-hop is long.
Well, I think that's what they're going to do. When they have the shots, they're going to take them. And Cegilski let one fly on a hop. They've been shooting on a hop against DeAndrea.
And Ed Geary getting it out to Christian Johns.
And you know, when you talk about Yorktown scoring, you really, JR, talk about the big three. Carcaterra, Colsey, and, of course, Dominic Finn. But I think with Lakeland, they've got a little bit more depth. You talk about really 6 guys who can put the ball in the net for them. The attackers, Geary, Johns, and Nacido, and the midfielders, too, Schussler, Savastano, and Cegilski.
Rick Nacido.
Number 14.
Looking for someone inside. Gets it off to Schussler. Looking for a shot. And a one-hop. Good! And that's what they have to do, exactly like you said, Joe. They've got to get their shots off because it's we've seen superb defense so far, and it could be defense that wins this game if it comes down to a 1 or 2 point game.
And very interesting, every shot they've taken in this game, JR, has been that one-hop shot that they have taken. And finally, after getting about 4 shots on goal, they do score, and it is Jeff Schussler, who we told you in the pregame show is bound for Syracuse University, gives Lakeland a 1-0 lead here in the first quarter.
Next face-off, Schussler and Colsey. Schussler comes away with it, loses it a bit, and going to be picked up by Jim Costello.
Very important there. Yorktown goes with the 2 long sticks on face-offs, and very important there, JR, that Lakeland did not win that face-off there, because they could really put this game away early if they score and keep winning those face-offs. So that was a key test for Yorktown right there.
That penalty was on Sigelski for pushing. He'll sit out for 30 seconds.
So right now, Yorktown with a man-up opportunity, and they run their power plays as well as anybody, and that's where the coaching comes into play. So Yorktown now ready to attack, trying to tie this thing up. They're down 1-0.
Shot by Colsey.
Just wide of the net.
Misses. Gets it back.
Roy has 48 goals this year. I don't think people thought he'd score quite that much.
Carcaterra up to Colsey. Again, a shot long by Colsey. Out of bounds.
Yorktown just has to concentrate on getting those shots on net. So important. Just get your shots on net, and sooner or later, some of them are going to go in. And I told you, Colsey, 48 goals, 10 assists for 58 points. He's second on the team in scoring behind Carcaterra, who's got 59 points, 19 goals and 40 assists.
Carcaterra. And out to Colsey.
Penalty time winding down now against Sigelski.
Carcaterra to Usman Green. Shot is long. And here's Carcaterra again to try it all over again. Out to Colsey. Shot Colsey.
Nice block there by Hickey. He came way out of the net, and Beardsley took over in the crease for him, and Hickey made that save about 20 yards out of the net. Penalty all over now.
Here's Mark Reeves bringing it downfield up to Vinny Lemma. Passing it off to Ed Geary.
And we were giving you the scoring leaders for Yorktown. Dom Finn is third on the team in scoring. He's got 33 goals, 9 assists, and 38 points on the season. Lakeland's #1 scorer, Christian John, 61 points, 35 goals, and 26 assists for the junior attacker, Christian Johns, number 11 for Lakeland.
Schussler defended by Henry Wietek, then passes it off to Rick Nacito.
Here's Gary now. He's got it for Lakeland.
Up to Nacito again. That was an illegal pick. Interference by Lakeland. We should mention
They'll
today's...
just forfeit possession on that one, JR. No penalty, no man-up opportunity.
Today's game being brought to you by Pit Stop Quick Oil Change, the home of the 10-minute oil change, Bedford Hill Supply, your official Burnham air conditioning supplier, and Huntington Learning Center. They give you the educational edge. And back here at Yorktown High School, J.R. Whalen here with Joe Lombardi.
Both teams, JR, had games scheduled for Thursday of this week. Lakeland with a big showdown against Suffern, and both those games were postponed by rain. Yorktown was scheduled to play Scarsdale. Those games will be made up on Monday. If you're watching this game, of course, as you are, the games have already been made up. Key game for Lakeland, that Suffern game, really for the league title. In order for Lakeland to win the league title, they win their last 2 games. They win it outright. But if Yorktown beats Lakeland and Lakeland beats Suffern, then there's a 3-way tie for the league title.
And it's muddy out here. We've seen a lot of slipping out here. Finn looking for an assist. Gets it off to Carcaterra.
Real nice shot by Ausman Green there. And nice save by Hickey.
Back out to Finn. Shot Finn is going to be long.
And again, JR, Yorktown not getting those shots on goal. They're going wide. They're going over to the net. They've just got to get the shots on goal. They've got to make Hickey go out and make some saves.
Lakeland up by 1, the score 1-0. We have a timeout, Yorktown on the field. We'll have more lacrosse coming up here on VIP Cable Channel 12. Back here at Yorktown High School, Lakeland up by 1-0. About a minute to go here in the first quarter. And just had a timeout, Yorktown.
We've got heavy, gusty winds today, and of course that never plays a role in lacrosse unless you're announcing the game and trying to keep your notes down.
We just got done with a week of rain, and now we have wind. You wonder what's next.
Well, we're happy that we got this game in and that it is not raining. This is a big day for Yorktown and Lakeland sports. This game, of course, is the winner of this game gets the Charlie Murphy Bowl trophy, and that's in honor of the 78-year-old Charlie Murphy, a big booster of Yorktown athletics.
Dom Finn.
And Yorktown lacrosse, in fact.
Taken by Hickey.
You'll see Hickey come out of that net a lot, and when he does, you got to get a defenseman back there, and Lakeland is very good about doing that. Either Reeves or Beardsley, very good about getting back there. But talking about Charlie Murphy, the winner of this game gets that Charlie Murphy trophy. Talking to Dom Finn this week, he says, if we win, the trophy stays at Mr. Murph's house. He says if Lakeland wins, it goes to their school. And ever since they won, Lakeland won last year, he said, we've been hearing a lot from those guys. They've been talking a lot, and we want to shut them up this year.
Jeff Schussler, almost inside the box, gets it off.
Gary with a nice shot and a good save by DeAndrea.
Nice offense and defense move.
And they're shooting from far out, too. I mean, they're just going to let them fly. Whenever they've got that ball in the restraining box, it looks like they're just going to shoot. And that's the end of the quarter, JR.
That's the end of the first quarter. Lakeland up 1-0 over Yorktown. Back with more right here on VIP Cable Channel 12. Back with the start of the second quarter, Yorktown and Lakeland. Lakeland up by 1. J.R. Whalen here with Joe Lombardi. And Yorktown being a little bit more aggressive out here. So far, the shots on goal count is 10-5 in favor of Yorktown, despite the 1-0 score.
I tell you, normally when Lakeland and Yorktown play, the games are not that high scoring. As we said, last year 6-4. And for there to be 15 shots in the first quarter is a hell of a lot of shots. And right now, Lakeland leading 1-0 on a goal by Jeff Schussler at the 5:55 mark of the first quarter, unassisted for Schussler. 1-0 Lakeland, and they're facing off. And right now, on the face-offs for Yorktown, JR, was Brian Duperizell. Colsey started the game at face-offs for Yorktown, and as we said in the pregame show, they're going to try a lot of different people against Jeff Schussler, who is probably the premier face-off specialist in Section 1. There's another player on Yorktown, too, when it comes to face-offs, Matt Horowitz. And last year in the Section 1 final game, Tom Peters of John Jay, acknowledged as the best face-off man in Section 1, was really thrown for a loop by Matt Horowitz. And so that's another name to keep in mind.
That whistle, by the way, was withholding the ball on Yorktown. And shot attempt, Sagilski, was short. Out to Jason Foley, who sends it out to John Foley.
Well, there goes one of my pieces of stats. One of my pieces of material went flying down, and it's a souvenir for one of the fans getting some information.
So far, the Wind winning this game.
Yeah.
Out to Hickey. Clears it. Oh, can't pick it up. Was out to Sagilski. And here comes Carcaterra.
There's Dom Finn.
Looking for a score.
Dom Finn is one of the fastest players you'll ever see play lacrosse.
Oh!
And that could have been a penalty right there, and there was no penalty called, and that's surprising.
Hit by Sagilski, not called by the official.
And that was a penalty. He was hitting the helmet, and that should have been a penalty. It just wasn't called.
Here's Savastano and Lakeland.
As a result, Lakeland got a fast break. But they weren't able to get anything from it.
Here's John Foley.
Boy, they are really hitting Dom Finn. He is really taking a beating in this game.
Dom Finn going to try it again. Clears it out to Cahill. Good.
It's all tied. 1-1. Joe Cahill from Dom Finn. Great feed by Dom Finn, who is really a goal scorer. You don't see him make those kind of passes very often. But I think Dom Finn was just taking his share of punishment, and that's the best way you can pay back right there, is to get a goal on the board. It's 1-1, folks. We're going to have a good one today.
Today's game also being brought to us today by Yorktown Seafood. Fresh quality and variety in seafood in the Sports Barn, your lacrosse headquarters. Another face-off. This is where Yorktown must excel.
Well, not even excel.
In order for stats to be on their side.
Well, they've just got to play him to a draw, win maybe half of them. And that's Duperizell once again, and he's doing well. He's holding his own against Schussler.
And whistle. Pushing call on Yorktown.
And they're going to reward possession to Lakeland.
Well, talking to Coach Turnbull of Yorktown, he said that we may see a rotation of face-offs if, in fact, it's not successful so far.
Well, he acknowledged coming into the game, he said face-offs are definitely a weak spot for us. And even Dom Finn said they have to be a favorite, referring to Lakeland, because of the face-offs. He said in lacrosse, face-offs mean everything, and they really do.
Christian Johns with the ball for Lakeland. Out to Geary. Oh! Nacito hits it off the pipe. And a battle inside the box. Picked up by Jim Costello. Then he loses it.
Nice stick check there by Gary Sogelski for Lakeland.
We take out to Dupresel. And the wind, again, prevails, blowing over the goal. Another proud sponsor of today's game, Absolute Flooring. They're specialists in all types of floor covering. Absolute Flooring. We've had an absolute great game here today.
We really have, and that's not to be anything that we're surprised at all, because anytime these two teams meet, that is what happens. You get a good game. There's so much emotion here. Don't forget, a lot of these kids grew up playing lacrosse together. It's literally a crosstown rivalry. The town of Yorktown is certainly the hotbed of lacrosse in Westchester, and has been for the last 25 years. And it's really a tribute to Frank Vitolo, the way he has built up his Lakeland program, really modeled it after the Yorktown program, JR, and now they're at a level where they're right up there, and they don't have to take a backseat to anyone. And these are the two premier programs in Section 1, and it's going to stay that way for a long time. And this is really a celebration of lacrosse as far as Westchester. You see kids here from schools throughout the area, coaches here from throughout the area. I mean, if you're serious about lacrosse, you just don't miss this game. We've got a tremendous crowd on hand. And this is really a clinic between two high school teams that play lacrosse as well as anybody.
The shot, Nacito, is good.
A steal by Nacito. He just, you see, on that play, DeAndrea was out of the crease, so he can be checked, and he was, and Nacito came away with it, and that was like a steal in basketball. You just steal it, and he got a nice shot in, and even when there's no goalie in the net, they're going to shoot it on one hop, and 2-1 now, Lakeland.
It's the tight defense and the tight offense. It's a very, very quick-paced game, and you increase that exponentially with these two teams here, and you're going to come up with an exciting game and quick goals like that.
But that was a mistake. That should not have happened if you're Yorktown. You can't give away goals like that. And there was no one back to help out DeAndrea, and Yorktown pays for it.
Schussler away with the face-off. Scoops it up, loses it again. He's being hounded by Dupresel. Tries to clear it out to Sigelski. And picked up by Wietek. Jason Foley up to Rocco DeAndrea.
And here we could almost have a replay of what happened before, as DeAndrea was circling around the net and Sigelski was all over him.
John Foley out to Colsey, midfield.
That was Gary all over him, rather, number 16.
Pass out to DeAndrea.
Yorktown with a fast break there and kind of rushed their shot. They didn't get a good shot away. That was Dom Finn who unleashed it. And really, when you have a fast break like that, JR, you should try and get a better shot on goal and just kind of rush things a little bit, Dom Finn. 2-1 Lakeland, midway through the second quarter of play here at Yorktown High School.
Carcaterra looking for a shot.
People might be confused, JR, because the game last year was played at Lakeland, and of course it should have been played, or was played at Yorktown last year, should have been played at Lakeland. Their field is being renovated, so it was moved here to Yorktown.
Beardsley with a one-hop shot taken by Jason Foley.
In order for a defenseman to go into the attacking zone, one of the middies has to go back to prevent an offsides, and that's what happened. You don't see defensemen getting too many shots on goal, but it was a nice little end-to-end rush there by Mr. Rick Beardsley. He's really a fine player and quite an interesting kid. You know, at the Empire State Games last year, he wrote a newspaper column detailing his experiences there with the Hudson Valley region entry to the Empire State Games, which won the silver medal. By the way, 14 players from Lakeland and Yorktown played on that Hudson Valley team.
Carcaterra looking for a shot taken by Hickey. Clears it to Mark Reeves. And back again. Back out to Rick Beardsley. Rick Beardsley injured his hand last year in football season. He's fine for today's game.
Right now, Lakeland settling things a little bit, which is a bit of a surprise.
Uncharacteristic.
It really is. They are like the UNLV of high school lacrosse. They like to run and gun and get that ball up and down, and right now they're just playing catch in their own end. Beardsley going back to Hickey, and they're going to have to bring it up at some point.
And they have. Out to Schussler, who can't hold on to it.
I tell you, that would have been a nice shot by Schussler if he would have been able to hold on to the ball. He just couldn't do it. Tight defense around Schussler.
Kicked away by Wietek. And Carcaterra looking for it, taken by Andrew Greenberg.
Savastano there at midfield, JR, slipped on the mud. And we got a timeout by Lakeland. And the field here at Yorktown does have some problems with the rain, and there was some concern. Usually, JR, when it does rain, they'll move the game to the elementary school. But today, with the crowd on hand, I would say well over 1,000 easily, there was just no way they could do that, and it could not hold that crowd. They had to have it here at the high school, and there are some muddy patches in the field. We see them in each end and in midfield.
And what a beautiful setup they have. But we've got to thank Isabel Costa and the staff here at Yorktown High School for accommodating us. We've had a lot of rain, and I'm sure the field has taken a beating, but they are nice enough to have us up here, and we're more than happy to watch a terrific game. There's nothing better to do on a gorgeous Saturday than watch lacrosse with two terrific teams.
That's for sure. As I said, this is really a celebration of lacrosse in this area, two of the finest programs. We've also programs in Section 1. Also grateful for the help we're getting from Kevin Marr up here with us.
Our statistician, Kevin Marr, our assistant down on the floor, Paul Giacchio, giving us invaluable service.
You're good, JR, but you need some help, and you
Not
can't
much
go
of
it
a
alone. And of course, even with all my car problems, being able to get here, and I'm driving around in a Chrysler E-car now. My other car is being serviced. That's a car that has been discontinued by Chrysler. It's kind of like the modern-day equivalent of the Edsel. But I got here.
So who have you badmouthed in your columns, and who owns a car dealership?
Well, the car's been discontinued. They can't be too upset about it. Discontinued, but I'm driving one. 2-1 is the score. Lakeland leading.
But midway through the second period, and Nick Savastano looking for a shot, passes it off to Geary. Out to Kristen Johns. Being hounded by Jason Foley. Looking for a shot, and picked up. That's Ryan Truperzell.
And of course, one thing about the Yorktown is the family tradition. Duperzell, the Foleys, the Dwans. It's a family tradition. The big brothers teach the little brothers, and really everyone in Yorktown plays lacrosse. It's a lacrosse town. You see the kids when they're in the 5th grade during this game. They're on the sidelines playing with their lacrosse sticks, and they grow up with the sport. And that's where a guy like Charlie Murphy, is so vital to a community like this, encouraging the youngsters and helping them along. And the result is obvious. 10 straight Section 1 titles, the defending state champions. Yorktown, incredibly, JR, 10 straight, last 10 years, made the state semifinals every year.
That was a push on Lakeland.
Okay.
2-1, Lakeland on top. And the goalie's certainly getting a workout today.
That is surprising that we've had the volume of shots on goal that we've had, but as we said at the outset, the goal of Lakeland would be to get as many shots on goal, and apparently Yorktown feels the same way. Not necessarily the good shots, just shoot them, and there's another one that goes wide.
Costello's shot is wide. Shots on goal right now, count of 17-10, Yorktown over Lakeland.
Well, that, of course, includes a lot of shots that went wide of the goal. If you just go with shots on goal, not quite that high.
Shots to the goal area,
Right.
we'll call it. Carcaterra looking for a shot along the ground and slotted away.
And Carcaterra, JR, is the 8th all-time leading scorer in Yorktown lacrosse history with 74 goals, 98 assists, 172 points. Of course, number 1 and number 2 for Yorktown, Tom and Tim Nelson, who went on to great careers at Syracuse, and Tim now the coach at Dartmouth.
Finn out to Carcaterra. Finn, the shot wide.
Dom Finn, incidentally, 14th on the all-time scoring list for Yorktown with 132 points.
There's Roy Colsey at the corner. Started the Yorktown football team as well.
And a pretty good wrestler. He's only a junior. Yorktown's going to have him back next year, too.
Carcaterra back out to Finn. And up to Colsley once again. Carcaterra open to Finn. Is he going to take the shot? Looks for a shot.
A behind-the-back
Carcaterra.
pass by Roy Colsey.
Oh. Headshot to Colsey.
By Carcaterra with that pass, rather, to Colsey.
Refs being a little lenient today, it looks like.
They really are. They're letting them play out there. Hit the post by Ausman Green. Hit the far post. Very close to tying up this ball game.
And recovered by Hickey. Clears it out to Mark Reeves. Up to Nacito.
Johns.
Jason Foley right on him.
It's been a slower pace than we thought, JR. That's favoring Yorktown. And Yorktown offsides there, so Lakeland will inbounds. 2-1 the score, Lakeland leading late in the second quarter of play. I didn't think it would be this low scoring, especially with the volume of shots on goal.
Well, we've seen incredible defense by the goalies.
We have. They've both played well in this game, and really in this big game, they've answered the call.
The offsides call on Yorktown, like we said, kind of uncharacteristic because of the efficiency of these teams, really well coached. And the ball up to Jeff Schussler. Back to Johns and now back to Schussler. And Lakeland setting up a shot. Savastano.
Look at that crisp passing.
Up to Nacito. And Christian Johns with a shot. It's good.
Just a matter of time. They set up that play beautifully, JR. Just one crisp pass after another. And Johns ends the play. He completes it. And Yorktown pays for that offsides right there. It's now 3-1. Lakeland leading here. And again, we'll watch the face-off. Very important here that Yorktown, which calls the timeout right now, does not let any further damage happen.
And Yorktown takes a timeout. We'll come back with lots more lacrosse. The score, 3-1 Lakeland. We'll have more coming up next on VIP Cable Channel 12. Back at Yorktown High School, 3-1 Lakeland over the Yorktown Cornhuskers. About a minute to go here in the first half. J.R. Whalen here with Joe Lombardi. And Joe, the face-offs really key to this game.
And I tell you, if Yorktown hadn't been holding its own, this could be a very one-sided game right now. They have been doing that. Like I say, they go with the two long sticks on the face-off, and our key has been Jim Costello, scooping up those face-offs after they've been drawn loose, and Duperzel doing a very good job holding his own against Schussler. This time Schussler wins it cleanly.
Schussler taking a beating from Duperzel. Now looks to pass it. Out to Savastano, who passes it up to Gary Sigielski.
Clock's on the field, JR.
Less than a minute to go. Christian Johns up to Geary.
So important that Yorktown does not give Lakeland another goal at this point. Going at halftime down by 2 instead of 3 could make a big difference.
Sigielski up to Schussler.
Look how well Lakeland sets up. They are such a talented offensive team. They're as good offensively as any team I've seen.
Christian Johns. Savastano. And he'll come away with it.
Costello comes away with it. He is such a specialist in ground balls for Yorktown, and really a big play there, and very important that they did not allow another goal, JR.
That will end a half. The score 3-1 in favor of Lakeland. And we have lots more to come right here on VIP. Today's game being brought to you by Bedford Hills Supply, 332 Adams Street in Bedford Hills. Pick stop, quick oil change. They have locations in Mount Kisco, Poughkeepsie, and Wappingers Falls. Lots more to come here on VIP Cable Channel 12.
Okay, back here at halftime, Joe Lombardi, joined by Anthony Newman, a fine defenseman for the John Jay lacrosse team. And Anthony, a member of the Hudson Valley region's entry to the Empire State Games, which we were talking about a little bit earlier, along with teammate Charles Sirigliano at John Jay. And Anthony, you had an opportunity to play with a total of 14 players from either Lakeland or Yorktown, so you're familiar with a lot of these guys, aren't you?
Yeah, it was actually a pleasure to play with all of them. It was a great experience when, you have that combination of all that talent come together on one team. It was a fabulous experience, and then for us to finally make it into the gold medal round after beating Long Island, it was really a tremendous experience for Long Island.
And you guys, of course, came away with the silver medal. What do you find is a common characteristic of players who play at those two schools? Is it the stick skills, the fundamentals? I've been impressed by that today. Their crisp passing and.
Yeah. Well, it's a mixture of a couple different things. When you're dealing with players like that, you always have to be aware and a lot more alert on the field, because the passes are going to be much more quick, and all the looks are going to be there. The ground balls are going to be picked up like that. The shots are going to be on. So you have to be a lot more alert. And also a different class and level of sportsmanship comes on to play. You actually become very united with the team, and they bring their leadership onto the field, and it's actually a tremendous experience.
Now, Anthony, you're going to be playing collegiately at the University of Virginia, which is one of the top lacrosse programs in the nation. What was your final list of schools down to?
The final list was down to Brown, UNC, and the University of Virginia, and actually the University of Maryland. I chose actually Virginia because I think it's a step above the University of Maryland academically, and not lacrosse speaking, but I don't know. I think it was just the academics. The school is beautiful. If you've ever been down there, it's gorgeous. Sure. That's basically it. And the coaches are great. Coach Adams is a great guy, and that's how I feel.
Quickly, what do you look for now in the second half? Lakeland on top 3-1.
I think that Yorktown's defense is going to have to come together a little bit more. They're starting to get a little lazy on the crease, and Lakeland's seeing all the guys on the crease, and they're getting those quick shots. And Lakeland's got to keep up the intensity on the offensive side, and the defensive side, they got to keep doing what they're doing.
Great, Anthony. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. And we'll be back with the start of the second half in just a moment.
Welcome back to the second half, everyone. The score, 3-2, just moments ago, scored by Yorktown's Roy Colesley. And he kind of took away a deficiency of Yorktown. One of the storylines of this game was the Yorktown offense and defense trying to get things into the goal in their favor, and he did it.
Yeah, very important for Yorktown, JR, to not let Lakeland get another goal and for them to close the gap, and they did it. Roy Colesley came right out, had a nice clear shot on goal, made it 3-2 now. 3-2, Lakeland on top early third quarter.
Really, not much mistakes. Not many mistakes in this game. Just some...
I tell you, and when there are, they're paying for them, too. We saw the mistake there by the goaltender, DeAndrea, and...
the mistakes are few and far between, but like you said, Joe, when they do come, you do pay for them. But not a lot of silly, little trivial mistakes by these teams.
Not at all. Not at all. And also, Yorktown winning that face-off to start the second half. You joined us a little bit later for that goal we missed, and that was key there. That has really been so important, the fact that they have been doing as well as they have with the face-offs, and that's been the difference right now.
Battle for the ball, Savastano in there, Geary in there, looking for it.
And it's funny, JR, you and I talked with coaches throughout the course of the week. We talked to players. No one had any idea who would win this game. It's a pick-em. It is just a toss-up, and we're seeing that.
Total pick-em. Sagilski comes away with it. Looking to bring it in on an offensive play. Gets it off to Geary. Really, these teams evenly matched, and just a couple of times the teams blink. And that's why we have a 3-2 game.
The one area where we thought there might be an advantage was the face-offs, and that has not proven to be the case, and that's why we have a 3-2 game right now. Great stick check there by Brian Duperzel, and he comes away with it.
Duperzel just
Huge penalty right there.
And
there were about 3 penalties, and they finally called one. And now Yorktown's going to get a man-up advantage here, JR. It can get the equalizer. You cannot get your stick on the other player's helmet, and that has happened twice in this ball game. Lakeland has done it twice. They're a physical team, and we told you they'd have to cut down on that stuff. They couldn't take those kind of penalties, and they have taken 2 of them. The first one they paid for, and we'll see if they pay for this one.
DeAndrea out to Finn. Finn back to Carcaterra. And, taken away. Beardsley, nice steal. Gets it out to Hickey. And he'll clear it out to Mark Reeves. Maybe the refs will be looking for the physical play now and start to tighten up the whistle.
Yorktown's got to find a way to get that ball back as soon as they can, otherwise they squander the man-up opportunity.
Schussler looking for a pass. Almost gets a net to the neck by Wietek.
The interesting thing about the classes in Section 1, last year Yorktown moved from Class A to Class B after winning 9 straight Section 1 titles. They were able to do that because their enrollment from grades 8 through 12 dipped below 800, and they won the Class B title. Now Lakeland, a lot of the Lakeland students who live in Putnam Valley will be going to Walter Panis next year, which means Lakeland's enrollment will dip under 800 in grades 10 through 12. So now Lakeland can move to Class B next year if they want to. But any Class B team can move up. John Jay can move up, Yorktown can move up. It's unlikely that you would have Yorktown, John Jay, and Lakeland all in one class.
2:50 gone by here in the third quarter. J.R. Whalen and Joe Lombardi here with you on VIP Cable Channel 12. 3-2, Lakeland over Yorktown. And number 11, Christian Johns with the ball. Lakeland in green, Yorktown in white. We're at Yorktown High School. Johns looking for a man by the goal. And Savastano gets it off to Schussler. Knocked away by Costello. And Rocco DeAndrea, nice save. And clears to... and back.
You got to watch those passes in your own end.
Just physical play. And we bring up the physical play, Joe. We were talking before. You see a combination of so many different sports in this sport of lacrosse.
You really do, JR. With the substitutions, it's similar to basketball, the contact, similar to football, the fast pace, similar to ice hockey. It combines, really, the best attributes of a lot of sports. And that's what makes it such a great game. And it's just growing in popularity every year. High school teams starting up programs, colleges starting up programs.
Geary looking for a shot.
And it's spreading out of the East Coast, too. Notre Dame in the NCAA tournament this year, which is underway right now.
Johns followed by Jason Foley.
And we mentioned Syracuse earlier. Jim Egan is the captain of that Syracuse team, a Lakeland graduate. We've also got Paul Cannon on the Syracuse team, and the 2 players from this game, number 21 of Lakeland, Schussler, and number 19 of Yorktown, going to Syracuse next year.
Here come the Cornhuskers. Jason Foley across to Colsey. Colsey going to go for a shot. Shot, Colsey, it's good.
That is almost identical to the goal Colsey scored at the beginning of the second half of play. Great one-on-one moves by Roy Colsey. A fine athlete. He's got the size and he's got the shot. Roy Colsey scoring his 50th goal of the year right there, and we're all tied up 3 apiece. What a game.
Amazing. We billboarded this game as just being a premier battle in New York State lacrosse, and we've got more than our money's worth, and we have a timeout Lakeland right now in the game. Today's game being brought to you by Yorktown Seafood. They're at 38 Triangle Shopping Center in Yorktown Heights. The Huntington Learning Center, they give you the educational edge at 1866 Commerce Street in Yorktown Heights. Bedford Hills Supply, 332 Adams Street in Bedford Hills, and Absolute Flooring in the Crom Pond Corner Shopping Center in Yorktown.
Well, JR, here is where Yorktown's tough schedule comes into play. They have been there. They've been to the well. They've played Ward Melville. They've played Corning East. They've played Manhasset. They've played John Jay. They've played a lot of tough teams. Lakeland, you look at their schedule, really the only team you could put on the class that Yorktown has played is Wilton. And Yorktown lost to Wilton by 1 goal. Lakeland beat them 7-4. That's why we were looking for the Suffern game to be a good barometer of how good this Lakeland team is, because Suffern is unbeaten and has beaten Yorktown. That game was not played Thursday. It was rained out. And right now the experience coming into play, and Yorktown, by playing those tough games, I think has an advantage. The only thing that could prevent them from coming on right here is the face-off situation. We keep harping on it, and we can't harp on it enough. And really, Brian Duperzel, number 23, has done a fine job for Yorktown, aided by Jim Costello out there against Schussler. And to appreciate what he's doing, Schussler's been a guy who's won 9 out of 10 face-offs every year, and they played him to a draw today.
Schussler and Duperzel once again for the face-off. Knocked away, scooped up.
Schussler wins it cleanly again.
You go to any one of the lacrosse points in New York State where the talent is centralized, and you mention Lakeland or Yorktown, and you'll draw attention.
Lakeland last year lost to the eventual state champion in the state playoffs in the semifinals, lost to Ward Melville, a team that's won something like 70 games in a row. And the team Yorktown was tied with in the fourth quarter earlier this year at 7 goals apiece before Melville kind of went on a little run there and won the game 11-7. I think that's going to be the team that Lakeland's going to have to worry about once they get out of the section, if they win that Section 1 title against Suffern, which is probably going to be the likely matchup in the Section 1 finals.
Sigelski, takes a shot.
Wide of the net. Shot wide by Schussler. The team, JR, that Yorktown's going to have to worry about when they get out of the States is Garden City. If they get out of the section, that is, of course. You got John Jay is going to be a very formidable foe. But if somehow they should get out, I have a feeling they might because they have won 10 of these things in a row. That's the team, Garden City, to keep an eye on.
Lakeland trying to put together a shot here. Here's Savastano. Loses it, scoops it up. And here comes Sigelski. Gets it off to Schussler. Shot. And scores.
What a blistering shot by Schussler that was. And he had a wide open corner of the net. I'm telling you, there was nothing Rocco DeAndrea could have done about that one. Nothing whatsoever. It's now 4-3, Lakeland on top on the goal by the Syracuse University bound Jeff Schussler.
And they're going to need talent like that with the Gate brothers leaving up there.
That's right.
At Syracuse University.
Paul and Gary Gate have to be two of the most heralded players ever to play collegiate lacrosse at Syracuse. Not at Syracuse, anywhere. They're at Syracuse right now. Canadian-born twin brothers. And I know a lot of the players out here today emulate them, have watched them, and admired them. Again, Schussler, no, not able to come away with it. There's where Costello comes into play.
And Weektake trying to get it.
And Weektake out there, too, with the long stick.
Loses it to Sigelski.
Four to 3, Lakeland on top here in the third quarter of play at Yorktown High School.
Sigelski over to Schussler. And knocked away, and Weektake.
Good defense by Henry Weektake.
It's up for grabs, taken by Schussler. Gary trying to make his way in. Won't take the shot.
Nice defense by John Foley, locking him up there.
Out to Savastano.
Again, Savastano slipping on the mud. He had a problem with that earlier in the game. Maybe should think about getting a new pair of turf shoes there.
DeAndrea out to Weektake. And here's Colsey once again up the left side.
They've got to put someone on Colsey. They've got to really shadow him.
He's on a roll now.
He's gotten away from them a little bit. I'm surprised they haven't put Beardsley on him. Beardsley guarding Carcaterra. And it's Reeves who is guarding Colsey, who's right now just outside the restraining box.
Colsey trying to direct traffic, comes in and gets it off to Dom Finn.
Just a collapsing defense there on Dom Finn. He had two guys all over him after he got the ball. Able to come away with it now, though.
Here's Kate. Shot is wide. Anthony DeAndrea.
Of course, brother of Rocco, the goaltender for Yorktown. Got a penalty. We have a penalty. It'll be against Lakeland.
Call is holding on Lakeland. 30-second penalty.
Right now, Yorktown trailing 4-3. And they're going to be a man up for 30 seconds.
Nick Savastano will sit that out for 30 seconds. Let's see what Yorktown can put together. Carcaterra.
Again, the big three to keep an eye on. Carcaterra, Colsey, and Dominic Finn. He's got the ball right now, number 19.
Colsley, shot, two-hop is good.
I tell you, it has been all Roy Colsley here in the third quarter. 3 straight goals for Yorktown, and it is tied again, 4-4. Yorktown entered this quarter trailing 3-1, and since then, it has been all Roy Colsley. 4-4 right now, and we were just saying how they can't let Roy Colsley get away from them, and I'm not impressed at all with their defense on Roy Colsley. Although, yes, it was a man-up opportunity, they're just not showing Roy Colsley enough respect. They're putting too much effort into Carcaterra and Finn. Sure, they can be, but Colsley has 51 goals on the year. He's no slouch either.
Well, Frank Vitolo said if they've got to stop Finn, and they're going to emphasize on that, but you got to emphasize on...
like I say, the big 3. You got to worry about all 3 of them. You can't devote any more attention to one of them. All 3 are equally potent scorers.
Colsley is now your main threat if you're Lakeland, and Frank Vitolo said if it becomes a one-on-one game or focusing on 1 or 2 particular players, that's a big threat to them.
Well, the object of the game on defense is to prevent the other team from scoring, and right now the guy who puts the ball in the net the most for Yorktown is Roy Colsley. He has 51 goals on the year, and the next highest after that is Dom Finn with 33. So you've got to give this guy some respect. You've got to be all over him, or he's going to make you pay for it.
Is Jason Foley. Chased by Nacito, gets it off to Anthony DeAndrea. Up for another shot, here we go again. And
an errant pass there by Cahill. And Lakeland comes away with it at midfield.
By the track.
4-4 the score.
The spoon off to Savastano. Here's Savastano.
Good defense by Usman Green. And look at how they converge on Usman there.
Usman Green loses his stick in the process of just getting...
It's a wonder he didn't lose more than that. 4 guys all over him.
Getting bludgeoned to the ground.
He's all right, though. He got up.
Out to Sigelski. Here's Sigelski in.
Nice save by DeAndrea. Another good save by DeAndrea, and he can't find the ball.
Nacito looks for the shot.
Now he gets it.
And like you said, bobbled a bit by DeAndrea.
This has got to be DeAndrea's best game of the year. And I don't think he picked a better time for it either.
Yorktown likes the left side of the field. Here's Usman Green. And we've got a call.
We got a timeout, I believe. I think Yorktown just called timeout there, JR.
Call on the fast break.
And we
did not expect that. We didn't expect to have fast breaks cut off by timeouts.
Well, I think more so you'd never see Lakeland call a timeout in that situation. If any team would do it in this game, it would be Yorktown. And I think one of the keys for them has been the fact that they have been able to slow the pace down a little bit. Although no one on Yorktown would tell you that they wouldn't want to slow down the pace. You know, it's kind of a macho thing. Yeah, we can run and gun with them. We want it unsettled. I think it does favor them a little bit. And right now, they're going to set up for a good shot. This is a very important opportunity for them right now. Very important. 4-4 the score. And we'll see if someone other than Colsley can score for Yorktown, but I'm sure they're not complaining. They have to be happy with the way things are unfolding right now.
Either team right now wants to get some insurance goals because you know that toward the end of the fourth quarter, this game is going to just be havoc on grass.
I tell you what, I don't think there'll be any insurance goals in this game.
You may want to get them. Getting
you
them
may want
the story.
That's right. And that's the case when these two teams meet anytime. We told you earlier last year, just a great game played right here on the Yorktown High Field, won by Lakeland 6-4, and you go back throughout the course of the series, one great game after another. The first time Lakeland ever beat Yorktown, 1987, right here on this field. They won 7-4, ending Yorktown's 126-game winning streak, and that game really revitalized the Lakeland program. They've really taken off since then under Frank Vitolo in his 8th year as coach of the Hornets.
You know, as a sport, lacrosse is really, I guess it's getting through the adolescent popularity age that soccer did in the early 80s. And really, it's a game which really merits really deserves to be as popular as baseball and football are, because it's...
Well, we see how popular it is. Look at how many people are here.
Sure.
I mean, I said earlier over 1,000. It's got to be close to 2,000 right now.
So much talent. And here's Costello for Yorktown on the faceoff. And Schussler comes away with it.
Schussler has won 3 straight faceoffs, JR.
The shot by Sigelski's good. And the quick offense, Lakeland.
Right off the face.
They must have heard you.
You know, Lakeland would want to go back to that fast pace, and they did it there. And they score, and they go ahead now 5-4. That's a run-and-gun goal if you ever want to see one there.
It's Oklahoma and UNLV if you live in the college basketball world. And just like that, back to another faceoff. And about this game, if Lakeland comes up with this goal, and we have with this faceoff after a goal, you get the ball right back.
They did, and we had Jim Costello taking a faceoff, and they win another one, and this is where they can put Yorktown away. They keep winning these faceoffs. They had Jim Costello taking the draw. First time he's been out there today, and now Schussler is really starting to show the type of form that is the reason why Syracuse University is so high on him.
Yorktown got to get a goal. Colesley into the game. A smart move by Coach Turnbull. Got to keep this thing close.
Here's Coles. He's going to get a shot away here, and a good save by Hickey.
One-hop shot. Not recovered yet. There we go. The call is interference on Lakeland. And
Cahill now operating behind the net. Gets it over to Carcaterra. Beardsley has been all over him throughout the game. And knocks the ball loose there. Scooped up by Hickey. Look at the way Hickey goes out of that net.
Nice save, Hickey. He's got to keep all of his territory covered.
Hickey played on the ESG team last year, the Empires.
Hickey over to Mark Reeves, directing traffic downfield. And Schussler. Vinny Lemo with the bobble just a little bit there, gets it off to Geary. Lakeland's got to get something going. Nice defense, Yorktown.
Really is nice. They've got some good long sticks. There's no question about that. And that was another area where maybe Yorktown might have had an advantage going in, because Lakeland's defense untested in this game. Going into this game, that is.
Geary knocked away. Sigelski looking for it.
And even going into the season, Coach Frank Vitolo of Lakeland said that that might be an area that could give us problems, and really hasn't all year. Of course, their schedule not nearly as tough as Yorktown, but they're playing a pretty tough team today and doing a good job defensively against them.
Jason Foley to John Foley. And
Jason is a junior, John is a senior, and they're both defensemen. Colsey again.
Beardsley chased by Carcaterra. And has it knocked away.
And anytime you knock the ball away from Rick Beardsley, you're going to pay for it.
And he comes away with it.
He doesn't come away from too many one-on-one clashes without the ball, that Rick Beardsley.
But he knows the importance of this game. Definitely.
Lakeland trying to keep their perfect record intact. Entered the game 15-0, winners of 34 of their last 35 games. Yeah.
Looking for a score, gets it away, and Jason Foley once again. Anthony DeAndrea looking for a score. The shot, one hop, is wide.
Hickey came out nicely to meet that shot, and he challenged him, and he let one go, and he came up with a nice block there. I think it would have been wide of the goal, but he came up with a nice block nevertheless. 5-4 the score, Lakeland on top. Crosstown showdown here in Yorktown.
The wait is over. I'll tell you, with all the rain canceling the games during this week, the wait is mercifully over. Colsley out to Dom Finn.
Watch Dom Finn and his speed. Look at him go. He just goes around people, right by him.
The shot to Colsley. The shot is high.
High and wide.
Just the tenaciousness of Dom Finn. And that's just what Syracuse looks for.
Oh, absolutely. And the speed helps.
And we have a timeout. Yorktown. Yorktown's going to talk this over. We'll have lots more lacrosse here. 5-4, our score in favor of Lakeland here at Yorktown High School. Back with more on VIP Cable Channel. Back at Yorktown High School, 5-4 Lakeland. And coming down to the home stretch, today's game being brought to you by Huntington Learning Center. They give you the educational edge. Yorktown Seafood, fresh quality and variety in seafood. Pit Stop Quick Oil Change, the home of the 10-minute oil change. Yorktown with the ball, and here's Carcaterra.
Early in the fourth quarter, 5-4, Lakeland on top.
Shot, Colsley, blocked.
Colsley's had about 7 shots on goal here in the second half. Last 2 haven't been on net. Got a penalty against Yorktown, looks like. They're going to reward possession of Lakeland.
Also today's game being brought to you by the Sports Barn. They're your lacrosse headquarters. Absolute flooring, specialists in all type of floor covering.
I mentioned earlier, this is the 25th season of Yorktown lacrosse. In those 25 years, an .837 winning percentage. 410 wins, 76 losses, 4 ties. Dominic Finn ties it up, JR.
A great shot, Dom Finn. And we're tied once again.
First non-Roy Colsley goal of the second half for Yorktown.
Spreading the will.
Dom Finn knots it up at 5.
And got it in through the side. Kind of took Lakeland by surprise.
And again, the speed we talked about. He just darted in. No one could catch up with him. Got the shot away. Tied up the game. And Duperizell back on faceoffs for Yorktown. And Yorktown comes away with it.
We take. Off to Cahill. The crowd really into this now.
And why not? What a great game we've had, folks. 5-5 the score.
Colsley looking to go ahead.
Midway through the fourth quarter.
And Colsley going to try it. The
just
shot.
Wide. Just wide of the net. Got 3 guys just fell off Colsley trying to check him there. He's a powerful guy. Cahill gets it knocked away.
Looking for some room. Almost to Colsley. Up to Anthony DeAndrea. DeAndrea looking for the shot.
Nice save by Hickey. Dropped to his knees nicely, Hickey, with the good save, but he can't find the ball. Finally, he picks it up.
I think he was asking the ref to kind of keep an eye on things out there.
The ref's saying, hurry up, you got 10 seconds to get that ball out of the crease. I'm not giving anything to you.
Here's Schussler. And errant pass out of bounds.
And I just think that on that play, he thought Nacito would be cutting toward the corner. Nacito didn't cut, and the ball just thrown away by Lakeland, and Yorktown will take over here with the score knotted up at 5.
Really getting fierce out here. Back and forth, up and down the field. Because if you get into a 1-point affair toward the end of this game, say goodbye to any kind of comfort.
We really could have an overtime game here today. It would be the first time these two teams have gone to overtime. against one another, of course. The rule is you've got 2 3-minute overtimes, so keep that in mind as time winds down here in the fourth quarter.
Cahill to Carcaterra, back to Cahill. Guzman Green up in the middle in front of the goal, and then back to Carcaterra. It's a free-for-all.
Lakeland has done a good job today containing Carcaterra. Look at Hickey come out of that crease.
Hickey really wants to clear it.
He does. They've had Beardsley mainly on Carcaterra, and they've really done a good job with him, but Colsey has kind of gotten away with him. And the last goal, Dom Finn for Yorktown. But overall, Lakeland has done a good defensive job against Yorktown. There is no question about that. That was an area of Lakeland's game that we were not too sure about their defense. People were talking about, well, how good is the Lakeland defense? They haven't really been tested. They've done a fine job.
The Yorktown coaching staff not happy with the officiating over the past couple minutes. A couple of the assistants of Yorktown talking things over with the coach. We'll have more here on VIP Cable Channel 12. The score tied up. More to come after this. We are all tied up 5-5, just about 3 minutes.
Gonna go to Lakeland.
And we're gonna have a timeout, Yorktown on the field. Yorktown want to slow things down just a bit. Getting close to the end of this game. We'll have a lot more to come as this game winds down here on VIP Cable Channel 12. Back to go, 46 seconds to go in the game. And Joe Lombardi coming down to a fierce finish.
I think I said Lakeland would have the ball. I meant to say Yorktown. Yorktown called the timeout. They're going to have possession of the ball. We've got 46 seconds to go in the game. Remember, they got to keep the ball in the box or it's offsides. 6-6 the score. Back and forth, all out, crosstown showdown. What a game it has been. Dom Finn taking it in, JR. Take it away.
Finn looking for the shot right away. Is wide. Out to DeAndrea. Gets it out to Colsey. 35 seconds to go. Colsey looking to set something up. Will he take the shot? A one-hop is wide.
Got about 30 seconds to go in this one. And the clock is stopped. Looks like we're going to have overtime unless Yorktown can come up with something here.
Official time now, 25 seconds to go. Dom Finn looking for room. Hounded by Beardsley, looking for a shot close. And it's high and away.
Yorktown all over Finn there. Amazing he even got a shot off. Time winding down, under 20 seconds.
Colsey, the shot. Wide again. Oh, my.
Looks like we're going to play a few more minutes.
Well, hold on.
Yeah.
Truman defeated Dewey. Remember that. Oh, what an amazing fourth quarter.
Yorktown's going to inbounds it. This is like the last few minutes of a basketball game. Is that it? Is that the end of regulation?
Looking for confirmation. And we have official word that's the end of regulation play, 6-6.
So now we got
we're going overtime.
We sure are. 2 3-minute overtime periods is what we're going to have. And whoever scores the most after that wins the game. And if it's tied again or if no one scores, which it would be tied again if no one scored, we will go to sudden death overtime. And, of course, in sudden death overtime, whoever scores first wins. For those of you who follow college lacrosse, you might be a little confused because in college lacrosse, they go right to sudden death overtime. There's no 2 or 3 minute periods. But the New York State rules still have the 2 3-minute overtimes. And that is what we will have, JR. So.
And as we head into overtime, let me tell you all about our proud sponsors of this game on VIP Cable Channel 12. Bedford Hill Supply, Wizard Scarduzio. He's at the home of your official Burnham air conditioning supplier. Pit Stop Quick Oil Change, they're the home of the 10-minute oil change. Huntington Learning Center, they give you the educational edge. Yorktown Seafood, they have the fresh quality and the variety in great, great seafood. The Sports Barn is your lacrosse headquarters. And Absolute Flooring, they're specialists in all types of floor covering.
And once again, great job by Kevin Moore up here with us, keeping stats and helping us out. And Paul Giacchio,
Our
on the
liaison
field.
between the scoring table and the booth here.
Of course, the scoreboard is not operative, and
Paul is.
Paul is. We've been doing our best to. That's why at times we haven't been able to keep up with things the way we like, but I think we've done a pretty good job, all things considered, and we've done it thanks to the work of Paul Giacchio, Kevin Marr, and of course, my broadcast partner here, J.R. Whalen.
And mine, Joe Lombardi. And my birthday is coming up, Joe. Now, when we go into overtime, let's see if nerves take effect.
Well,
Because
I don't think
I was going to say, we haven't seen slashing. We haven't seen really...
Well, that's the key, right.
Really dumb penalties or extravagant penalties.
In the second half, we haven't.
Should be able to keep their cool based on the coaching they have and based on the talents they possess.
Well, that's been the key. Early on, Lakeland took a few bad penalties, a few slashing penalties that you just can't take in a big game like this. And you just obviously now in overtime, that's heightened. You can't even think of doing anything like that. And that's why face-offs are so important, and that's how we're going to start out. But nerves, I don't think, are going to be a factor. These two teams, I've been to the well many, many times before, and Lakeland really...
Yorktown being through the ringer in the playoffs for the past several years.
Unquestionably, and even this season, playing teams like Ward Melville, Wilton, Corning East. Of course, Lakeland played and beat Wilton, the defending state champion. But other than that, really, this is their only other major test. Suffern would have been a big one, but they have responded very well. I think Frank Vitola, win or lose today, has to be very, very pleased with the way his team has played, both offensively and defensively especially, JR.
There's a lot more lacrosse and excitement to come as we head into overtime. Back with more here on VIP Cable Channel 12. The overtime period, Yorktown, Lakeland, knotted up at 6 apiece. J.R. Whalen and Joe Lombardi here with you on VIP Cable Channel 12. And a premier matchup going in overtime. A game like this should go in overtime.
Oh, absolutely. If it could end in a tie, it might possibly do that. But, of course, it can't. And Jason Foley of Yorktown limping around, one of their top defensemen, and Steve Hirsch, one of the team's leading defensemen as well, not playing this game. He's probably out for the year with a knee injury, so that could affect the Yorktown defense. Right now, taking the face-off for Yorktown against Schussler.
Coach Turnbull going to keep the rotation going for the face-offs, hopefully to win this one.
He's added some new wrinkles in Costello and Witek to the face-off situation.
Knocked away, and here comes Savastano trying to pick it up, being hounded by Costello. And out of bounds.
It'll be Yorktown ball. Yorktown's going to take over. All tied up at 6-6 in the first of 2 3-minute overtime periods. If we're still tied after that, folks, we'll go to sudden death. Dom Finn now controlling the ball for Yorktown.
Lakeland tightening the defense. Finn has it knocked away. Out of bounds.
You know, it's so appropriate, too. We talked to coaches and players all week. Who do you like in the Yorktown-Lakeland game? And I heard time and again, I have no idea how that one's going to turn out.
And if somebody picked, let's say, Lakeland by 1, they'd say, but you know, Yorktown's pretty good too.
Right. Well, I mean, there are a lot of different areas that you look at.
And you can't come up with a definite answer because you have to second-guess yourself because the teams are so filled with talent.
I don't think in the history of these two programs have they been so evenly matched. Maybe in 1987 when Yorktown beat Lakeland in the Class A final after losing to them for the first time in the regular season. Green got a shot away there that went wide. Yorktown's Cahill gets it back behind the do. Yorktown's going to maintain possession. I'd say we're about midway through the first of 2 3-minute overtime periods. They are mandatory. 6-6 to score.
Colesians, they're going to think about a score. Over to Carcaterra.
If Green had caught that ball, he would have had a wide open shot on net. Usman Green, number 21 for Yorktown.
Picked up Beardsley. And out to Hickey. Lakeland really saving a dangerous situation.
They really did, and you know, in these overtime periods, 3-minute periods, you might only see possession change maybe 3-4 times. If even that, a very dangerous pass there.
Beardsley
from Beardsley to Hickey. Hickey came up with it.
Schussler. Back to Beardsley. And Nick Savastano going to set something up. The pass to Schussler, a bit errant, going to be picked up now. by Costello. And here comes Yorktown. Costello.
Timeout by Yorktown. They're going to maintain possession. They're calling a timeout here. So often with those ground balls, you see Jim Costello there for Yorktown. He is by far the best on the team at scooping up those ground balls. Just a bad pass there by Nick Savastano. Intended for Schuessler. Loose ball and picked up by Jim Costello, the sophomore.
Just about a minute to go in the first overtime. And a good idea by Coach Turnbull to do that, because
very good idea.
A very precarious, I guess you could call it, situation, and because you got to get a goal in right now in the overtime, and you don't want to have anything go wrong on you, and you want to talk about it in the middle of it, and you do get the possession back.
Well, it is. You want to make sure when you get the ball that you're going to get a good shot away, and that's what he's doing right now. We've seen him do it throughout the game to settle things and to make sure you get a good shot off. Right there in the last possession, you saw Lakeland was a little bit rushed there. Savastano did not make a good pass to Schuessler, and the ball scooped loose. I think by calling that timeout, that is the type of thing that Jim Turnbull wants to avoid. And in overtime, as you say, so important to avoid those type of things. We've got a minute to go in the first 3-minute overtime period. Regardless of who scores or what happens in the last minute, we will play another 3-minute period. And then if it's still tied after that, we're going to go into overtime. So I hope there's plenty of film in the cameras we have here.
Hope there's plenty of energy in us. Usman Green will take it for Yorktown. And Green may take it himself. Across to DeAndrea, can't handle it.
I tell you, if Anthony DeAndrea had caught that ball, he would have had a wide open shot on net. Now Lakeland comes away with it. Ollie Mintz.
Ollie Mintz has taken away. Ed Geary then has it slapped away, and still nobody with possession. Colsley tries to get it.
Body's just flying all over the place. This does not look like Lakeland and Yorktown right now. Now it does.
Anthony DeAndrea on the fast break. Gonna go for it. The shot, DeAndrea, no good.
I think he was trying to pass to Carcaterra, who was cutting toward net. Now Finn's got it.
Finn may try it. Knocked away.
And that's the end of the first 3-minute overtime period. Nothing lost, nothing gained. We're still tied at 6-6.
And we'll have more. 6-6 tie.
We will indeed.
Second overtime right here on VIP Cable Channel 12. Back with you, J.R. Whalen and Joe Lombardi on WVIP Cable Channel 12 for the second overtime. Lakeland and Yorktown tied up at 6 apiece. And Joe, Yorktown having an edge on Lakeland as far as shooting the ball toward the goal.
They're sure. 34 shots for Yorktown, 28 for Lakeland. The stats we have, that's like an NHL game, that number of shots on goal, I tell you. And it's not like either team has made a lot of mistakes in allowing those shots. It's just been a very clean, well-played game. I mean, this is what you'd expect from a Hopkins-Syracuse game. It's been that caliber game, just like last year's NCAA championship game. Great, memorable victory for Syracuse over Hopkins. What was it, 11-10 or that caliber game?
It's an illegal procedure call on Yorktown.
You don't see that very often on the face-off. You do not see that.
Forego the face-off.
So we start the second 3-minute overtime period. Lakeland's got the ball, or they had the ball at least.
Schuessler recovers it, then loses it, and then we take in there.
There's Costello again with the ground balls for Yorktown. Jim Costello, number 10.
Off to DeAndrea, I beg your pardon, off to Joe Cahill. Back out to Colsey.
I wouldn't be surprised if they called a timeout here, set things up. Now they're going to go.
Look out with Colsey with the ball, the shot. And nice recovery, Hickey.
Good save by Andrew Hickey. First save he's been called upon to make here in overtime. Tied at 6-6. Second 3-minute overtime period. If we're tied after this, we go to sudden death.
Here's Colsey again. Coming in, a one-hop shot, no good. Out to Carcaterra. Colsey again, going to try it again. A one-hop is good! Yorktown goes up by 1.
Roy Colsey with his 4th goal of the game. His 52nd goal of the year. Yorktown leads 7-6. We're about midway through the second 3-minute overtime period. So appropriate that Roy Colsey, the guy who has done it all day, does it now in crunch time for the Yorktown Cornhuskers, trying to deliver Lakeland its first loss of the year.
If you're going to load up on goals, you do it now. And we have a timeout, Lakeland. They're going to talk this over as we head toward the end of the second overtime. And again, if we are tied at the end of this, we will go into a sudden death period. And we'll bring you more of the second overtime right here. 7-6, Yorktown over Lakeland on VIP Cable Channel 12. Back midway through the second overtime period, 7-6, Yorktown over Lakeland. And Yorktown, maybe to try to put this one away. Lakeland certainly trying to tie this one up.
And you know, the respect that these two teams have for one another is amazing. They grew up playing for one another. Many of them played together on umpires. I understand they're planning a little get-together after the game, a friendly get-together, a barbecue.
Schussler can't handle it. Costello takes it away off to Cahill.
JR, they'll have a lot to talk about. Time winding down now. Every possession so crucial. Yorktown has the ball and a one-goal lead.
Colsey and Green back into the game, as well as Anthony DeAndrea.
Finn behind the net. Finn, that's a penalty, and they call it.
Finn, a wild shot to the head.
That could be it for Lakeland, taking that kind of penalty with about a minute to go in the second 3-minute period. Clearly a penalty. A slash to the head. The referee had no choice but to call it.
This is no time to start this, especially at the drawing the end of the game.
That penalty called on Jeff Schussler, who will be a teammate of Dom Finn's at Syracuse. I'm sorry, it was called not on Schussler, it was called on Rick Nacito. So right now Yorktown with a man up, about a minute to go in the second 3-minute overtime period. Yorktown leads 7-6. They have the ball and an extra man.
Colsey will take it in.
Colsey with 4 goals in this game, including the only goal in overtime, giving Yorktown the edge.
Beardsley hanging out by the goal.
To give you an idea of the kind of athlete Roy Colsey is, Patent Trader Athlete of the Month for his exploits in football. And right now he's got 52 goals for one of the premier high school lacrosse teams in the nation.
He can rack up a whole season of months as Athlete of the Month.
Oh, he can indeed.
DeAndrea going out to Carcaterra. Timeout Yorktown. Maybe Coach Turnbull not quite happy with what he sees or wants to complete the thought. 7-6 Yorktown over Lakeland. Just about a minute to go. In fact, 46 seconds to go in the second overtime. And Lakeland better get something going here.
They really do. Right now, that penalty could really be the knockout blow as far as Yorktown is concerned, delivering it against Lakeland. Just a tough, in that situation, either Dom Finn's going to have a very good shot on goal or they're going to take a penalty. They had to do one or the other, and Finn very well could have scored. So certainly tough to take penalties in overtime, but in that situation, very, very tough decision for a player to make on the spur of the moment there. But Yorktown on top, 7-6 on the exploits of Roy Colsey. This is a game he's going to talk about for a long time if it holds up the way it has held up right now. We've had just a great, well-played game. Folks, close to 2,000 people here, I would say, in Yorktown High School. They are lined up all over the field. All the bleachers are filled on both sides of the field.
This is certainly the main event in town. No question about it. Getting set, Yorktown.
That's Dom Finn. 40 seconds to go.
Finn over to Cahill, out to Colsey. He's your man if you're Yorktown.
Yorktown now just trying to run the clock. They just want to keep possession. They're not even worried about getting shots on goal at this point.
Under 30 seconds to go.
This is what you'd call the four corners. Dean Smith were around. He'd be very happy to see this, the North Carolina basketball coach.
DeAndrea out to Cahill, trying to waste some time. Colsey can't pick it up.
Under 20 seconds to go. Lakeland just doesn't have much time here. Ball goes out of bounds. Who are they going to give it to? going to go to Yorktown, prompting a roar from the crowd. With under 20 seconds to go here, and Yorktown leading 7-6 in the second 3-minute overtime period. Lakeland right now looking at its first loss of the year, jumped out to 15 straight wins.
Under 10 seconds to go.
That's it.
And that's the end of the game.
That is it.
Yorktown has defeated Lakeland 7-6 in double overtime. Dom Finn throwing the ball into the air as clock winds down. And what a game by Dom Finn and Roy Colsey.
Roy Colsey certainly would have to be the star of the game. Also great goaltending by Rocco DeAndrea. Fine defense for Yorktown. Great play by Lakeland as well. And Dom Finn said after the Yorktown lost to Lakeland last year, 6-4, he said, they gave us a mouthful, referring to Lakeland. He said, we hope to shut them up this year. Of course, he said that in a friendly way, and they have. These are two teams that have a lot of respect for one another, as well they should. They are the two premier lacrosse programs in Section 1, no question about that. And this is the type of game we honestly didn't know which way it would go. And that the score and the fact that it went to overtime is indicative of that. 7-6 is the final. Yorktown coming away with it. This is such a key win for Yorktown now, going into sectionals. They played such a tough schedule, and this has to really boost their confidence going into the playoffs. They're not a team that I would not want to play against. I would not want to play against this team in the playoff situation. They have been so well tested throughout the course of the year in big games, and of course in the sectionals, every game is a big game. It's sudden death, and they have showed what the poise that they have, and so did Lakeland. I mean, coming into this game, there were a lot of questions about their defense, other than the Wilton game, which they won 7-4. Haven't really had a big test. Suffern would have been. But right now, the important thing for them is the Suffern game. That's going to be key for them. But now Yorktown, JR, is hoping that Lakeland can beat Suffern, and then if that happens, it would be a three-way tie for the league title. If Lakeland loses to Suffern, Suffern would win it outright because Suffern is unbeaten. And right now they're lining up for the Olympic handshake at midfield.
Coach Vitello surely cannot be unhappy with his team's play. They stayed with Yorktown, and honestly, somebody's got to lose.
Absolutely. And in fact, when I talked to Frank Vitello 2 years ago, 3 years ago, before Lakeland and Yorktown played in that game that Lakeland beat Yorktown for the first time ever, he said, I hope this game goes into sudden death. He said, I hope one team wins, one team loses, and I hope it's a heartbreaker. And that's the way this type of game should be. It should be a real war, a real battle, where it's a heartbreaker for one team and ecstasy for another, and that's what we have today. But for Lakeland, the fact that they are no longer in class, or in the same class as Yorktown this game, does not have quite the importance that it might have had they been in the same class. There's no way these two teams could play again, and that adds to the importance of it.
And the outpouring of respect, just so evident on the field. Dom Finn and Ed Geary exchanging handshakes, hugging each other. The respect is out there. There's no hate between these two teams.
And that is good to see.
Sure, they're competitive on the field, but they're expected to be that way. But they're all friends. They know that they're in this. It's a sport, and they're all having a great time, and they're all very talented. So the final score, 7-6. Yorktown over Lakeland in double overtime. Today's game brought to you by Pit Stop Quick Oil Change, the home of the 10-minute oil change. Bedford Hills Supply, they're your official Burnham air conditioning supplier. Huntington Learning Center, they give you the educational edge. Yorktown Seafood, fresh quality and variety in seafood. The Sports Barn, they're your lacrosse headquarters on Route 202. In Yorktown, your spring sports source and absolute flooring specialists and all types of floor covering. 7-6 the score. Yorktown over Lakeland, double overtime. It promised to be a thriller, and it certainly was. I'm J.R. Whalen for Joe Lombardi, saying thanks for watching.
Great game, J.R. Great working with you. We picked a good one to do. Just a fantastic ball game. And folks, get your VCRs ready. If you didn't tape it tonight, tape it this week. It's going to be on a lot, this game. It's a memorable one. Going to be talking about it for a long time.
7-6 the score. Thank you for watching the game tonight on VIP Cable Channel 12. Final score, 7-6. Yorktown over Lakeland in double overtime. A fabulous game. Was promising to be a thriller, turned out to be a thriller. Here in the booth with us at VIP Cable Channel 12, three-star players of the Yorktown Huskers team, Roy Colsley, Dom Finn, and Steve Carcaterra. Let me start off with Roy Colsley. Just superior talent today's game. Roy, tell me, terrific plays. Tell me how you did it.
I don't know, I just shot. Their defense was good. They played on Dominic, and and Steve, they're worried about shutting them off. So I don't know. Shot.
What was the game plan at halftime? You guys are down 3-1. What was your game plan for attack in the second half? You got the 3 quick goals and tied it up.
We just wanted to work the ball. We had the shots in the first half, and we didn't put them away. And so in the second half, we just had to shoot low and hope that they went in.
It seemed to me like Lakeland was really expending their energy defensively on Steve right here and Dom. Do you think that was the case, that you kind of were open a little bit there and you got
well, they put their best defenseman on one of these two, back and forth, whoever had the ball. So they left it open for me, and I missed a lot of shots. But,
Now, Steve, who you had Beardsley pretty much all over you. Did you expect that matchup?
I didn't expect it because usually, he's up against their best player, which would be Dom, and the opening face-offs that he came on me. Get out of here. And he came on me, but I'll take that any day. These guys are incredible. I'll take those other guys, and I just cleared out and let them go to work like they always do.
It looked like you guys really wanted to settle things and set things up. You called a lot of timeouts there. Was that the game plan? You didn't want to get into a run-and-gun shooting match?
We have, we're a good run-and-gun team, but when it comes down to settle, I don't think anybody could beat that, because we have the sticks, and if we just work it around, we could do it, and hopefully in and out on the crease and see how things go.
Great game and goal too for Rocco DeAndrea.
the whole defense was just incredible.
Rocco definitely, he came up big, definitely.
Now, we were talking earlier this week, Dom, about the importance of this game from your aspect, because there's no way you guys can play again in the playoffs now that you're not in the same class. Does that add to the rivalry? Does that add to the importance of the game?
I think it did. I think, we were all going crazy out there. The crowd got us into it. As soon as everything started pumping in, the game was like, the atmosphere of the game was just great. And, started thinking about Mr. Murph's Cup and the Yorktown Pride. A lot of alumni was here, and we wanted to do it also for themselves. Yeah.
Big crowd. There were all kinds of people here today. They're a very big crowd. Now, are you planning a picnic with Lakeland? Are you guys going to get together?
Yeah, we have a Lakeland picnic with them at Charlie Murphy's house.
We have a lot to talk about today.
Yeah.
Great game, guys.
Right.
Very good.
And, Donovan, you'll be seeing Jeff Schuler. Schussler down the line at Syracuse University.
Yeah.
Obviously, the two incredibly talented players from Northern Westchester. Have you talked over with him about going there?
Yeah, I might be his roommate, actually. And, as soon as, this game's over now, I'm wishing them the best. I hope they can go on to states, and I hope we can go on states. It's over with now. They had the bragging rights for a year, and now they just passed it on. Now we're going to have a year of having a good time and bragging about them and shut them up for once.
What does it mean to you to be able to go up there and play in the Carrier Dome? Just the mecca of lacrosse right now. This two-time defending national champion.
Yeah, I don't know about it. That's going to be crazy. And, right now I'm thinking about, that's far off. I didn't really give it too much thought.
Okay, Dom, Finn, Roy Colsley, Steve Carcaterra, nice job, congratulations, and a great game played. Once again, the score, 7-6, Yorktown over Lakeland here at Yorktown High School. I'm J.R. Whalen for Joe Lombardi, sports editor of the Patent Trader. Thank you for watching us here on VIP Cable Channel 12. So long.